So you can see that with just one of our clients, we're able to charge him over $13,000 to help him grow his real estate business. And we have tons of other clients just like him. You can see another payment processor for Stripe, we've made over $21,000 here. And you can see that we're able to book tons and tons of calls. If I could show you just a couple of weeks ago, every week our calendar is pretty much almost completely full, right? We have onboarding calls, we have things like that. And we're pretty much doing this with mostly cold outreach and ads, right? So I want to show you guys exactly how we use cold outreach to completely fill our calendar to get over 10 booked calls every single week. So let's hop into Miro and I'm gonna show you exactly how. So when you do cold outreach specifically for your agency, there are tons of ways you can do it, right? So the first way people you start off with is cold calling, right? Now everyone hates cold calling. I know it's terrible, it sucks, but here's the thing. Let me tell you exactly the thing. Cold calling is the cheapest way to get a client right now. It's the cheapest and fastest way because you can get in front of a decision maker as quickly as possible and sell them on a meeting. Now, what you need to realize is no matter what you have in your business, whether it's cold calling, you do cold emailing, or you can even do cold SMS, the thing is that you need to get more conversations. And please uh, disregard my terrible handwriting. But you need more conversations. So you need to talk to as many people as possible. The faster you can talk to decision makers, the faster you can actually go and scale your business. So I'm going to give you a breakdown of all of the outreach methods that we do. Just give you a little bit of an overview to see how exactly you can do the same thing. So when it comes to cold calling, so this is exactly what we do. Very simple. So what we do, first you're gonna need leads, right? So with cold calling, you need to download leads. So we have multiple places that we get leads from. We get leads from a place called outscraper.com. We get leads from places like Fiverr or other places where people actually scrape the leads for us, right? So first thing you're gonna need is leads because you need to actually have the list of numbers to contact. Once you have these leads, then you're gonna have to call them, right? Very simple, right? You're gonna have to call them and get them on a call with you. Now, the main goal of the call is to set the meeting. You don't want to sell your service over the phone because that's never gonna happen. You need to sell the meeting. So the simple format and structure that we use for cold calls is we pick up the phone and we say, hey, is this XYZ? They say yes. They say, awesome. Well, I'll be totally honest with you. This is a cold call, so please don't hate me. Would you happen to have a quick 15 minutes or 5 seconds? If not, all good, right? So you want to basically you want to get them to understand that you care about them and their feelings by saying that, right? You want to make sure that they understand you value their time first. So you just basically ask if you can pitch them, you pitch them, and then you book a call with them, right? Once you're on the call, of course, you do your whole pitch, and then you close the deal. Very simple. This is probably the simplest way to get clients in through the door. And that's how I started. Now, the next thing you can do is cold email. Now, cold email is very, very different. Now, what you need to do with cold email, it's a lot more structured of a process. First thing you're gonna need is an email, of course, but your email needs to be a warmed email. So the email needs to be an email that can be sent out to other Google domains. So the problem is that a lot of people send emails from the same domain and you get flagged as spam. Your goal is to not get flagged as spam ever. If you ever get flagged as spam, you'll never be able to have your emails hit their inbox. So really what you want to do is you want to treat deliverability, that's what it's called. You want to treat deliverability as your god when it comes to sending cold emails. So you want to have an email with good deliverability, then you want to have the right script and the right structure. Then once you have the right script, right structure, you use certain softwares to send out your emails. Now there's different ones you can do. We use instantly.ai because it works very, very well to actually get tons of emails out. So that's really what it comes down to there. So we have cold calling, cold email, and cold SMS. Now, cold SMS is definitely one of my favorites because it's a good balance between cold calling and cold emailing. And what I mean by that is when you send a cold text, it's going to be seen. And everyone is on their phone. So when you send a cold text, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be seen. Now, here's the thing, right? Once it's seen, you have to actually have the right script to make sure they actually respond correctly. So what we do is we send out cold SMSs. We send a huge blast. Once we send out a huge blast, the people who respond to us, we actually set it up and go high level to get a message from them. And once we get a message from them, we call them right away and book them on our calendar. Very simple system. That's all we need to do, and that's all we've done in that system. So cold SMS is probably one of the best ways, and it's way cheaper than, let's say, running ads or even cold email at times. So this is very good as well. So these three cold outreach methods are really the basis of what you want to do. Now, there are some other cold outreach methods you can do, like cold DM, right? Cold DM is great. And cold DMs, we're actually booking tons of people from cold DMs. Now, what you guys want to realize is all these work, but you have to focus on one, and you have to make sure one that works can be scaled. Now the problem is what people jump around and they do a bunch of different actual cold outreach methods, and then none of it work because you have 15 things going on. You should not jump to cold email if you're starting off with cold calling. You should not jump to cold SMS if you're doing cold email, and vice versa, right? And I want to tell you the exact method you guys can do and to value your time correctly and your money correctly and what you start off with. So let's say you're completely broke and you have $0 in your account. If you have $0 in your account, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to cold call, right? Cold calling is gonna be your best friend because that's all you can do. All you can do is just pick up the phone. You have a phone bill, just pick up the phone and call them. That's the first thing you do if you have $0 in your account. Now, if you're a type of person who has some type of money, let's say you have let's say you're making like $500 in your account, right? $500. If you got $500 in your account, I would suggest you can either do cold email or cold SMS, because those two are the cold outreach methods that really, really are going to be the fastest way to leverage your time and your effort, right? Now, when it comes to cold DM, right, you don't need a lot of money to have cold DM, but the one difference between cold DM and all the other outreach methods is the fact that you're going to need to create content, right? You're going to need to create content. So the thing is, though, when you actually create content on your Instagram, on your LinkedIn, or wherever you do cold DM, people, when they see your message, they're going to look first at your page. And if your page looks like trash, if it looks like you haven't posted in 30 years, if it looks very untrustworthy, it's not going to work. So what you must do is actually make sure your content is good. So make sure your content looks good, everything's good to go. Now, we have a whole entire video and a whole entire plan on how you create content on Instagram to actually attract clients and do cold DM correctly. If you guys want to see that, click the link below. Or if you guys want our one-to-one help, just book a call with us and we'll kind of show you how. But the point is that if you're good at making content, you can do cold DM because you can actually create content, create value, nurture your clients, and then bring them in for a sales call. So really all this being said, cold calling, cold email, cold SMS, cold DM, all of them work. That's what I want you to realize. All of them do work. You just have to stick to one and stick to the right thing at the right time. Like I said, if you're completely broke, cold call. If you have some money, you could do cold email, cold SMS. But I want to wrap this all up in a bow and tell you guys that the best way to do outreach right now, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, is ads, right? The best way is ads because ads are the highest leverage you can do. You can just spend $1 and then get a client, right? You're literally paying for clients. That's literally what you're buying clients at Publix. That's what you're doing literally. So if you can go and pay for clients, that is the most fastest way you can scale. Now, there's some people who say different things. Some people say that if you want to start off your agency, there's two things you could do. You could either get a job and then run ads, or you could not get a job and just do cold outreach. Now, I mean, there's different ways you can take this. In my opinion, ads are great. Ads can be a little expensive. If you have a job, you're going to want to make at least, let's say, you're going to want to spend probably about $500 a month on ads to really see some good results and to scale from there. So getting a job isn't a bad idea, but if you're like, hey, I want a client tomorrow, cold calling can be your best bet as well. So I would say generally, if you don't have a job, get a job, just get some money, and then once you have some money, either you can do cold outreach or run ads, right? But my point is that ads are the king of actually getting clients, right? So this is what we've used to scale tons of times, scale completely high, and most people, of course, have the money to reinvest into their business with ads. So that's kind of it, guys. So basically, that's exactly the systems that we use for cold outreach. You can do cold calling, cold email, cold SMS, cold DM, and like I said, we have tons of different videos on this channel that walk through each one that we've used. And like I said as well, if you guys want to hop on a call with us and see if we can help you one-to-one, just hop on a call from there. But guys, I hope this video gave you a lot of value. I hope you enjoyed it like I always do, and I'll see you guys in the next video.